Do you know who Virginia Woolf is?
I know that she's a poet who committed suicide, if I'm not mistaken.
I think she's a novelist and poet, a writer. So, no, really.
There's not nothing I gave you was wrong. What do you mean, no?
I know, but don't you think that for it to be titled and it's repeated, there's probably something more integral about her as a literary figure? They don't ever discuss her or her works in
Well,
the
something I
movie or
found
the
said he
play.
saw that written on a mirror and soap in a local bar he used to hang out at.
The
He thought it was,
writer of the play,
I guess it's supposed to show their intellect.
that it's supposed to demonstrate their intellect, that they just repeat it.
Well, that and that it's
It would make sense.
coincides with the theme about she dealt with the reality of life.
She as a writer did.
Yes, Virginia Woolf as a writer. And in this play, they try to avoid it. Anyway, what would make sense?
That he drew that from something so trivial like it being written on a bathroom wall.
Mirror and soap.
In soap.
Yeah, and it's to the tune of Who's Afraid of Big Bad Wolf from the Three Little Pigs, which I don't know. I mean, I know the Three Little Pigs, but I feel like I don't know the song.
It must be from some interpretation or some presentation. Oh, okay. So like a cartoon of it.
I'm imagining.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? I've heard that before. I've probably seen the cartoon.
Black and white. Black and white.
Welcome to Black and White Movie Night. I'm Black.
I'm White.
I'm Brittany.
I'm Brendan.
Welcome to February, and our theme for this month is Unhappily Ever After. In light of Valentine's Day, I wanted to look at romantic relationships, but those that aren't good or those that have ended. So our first film is Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf from 1966. It was written by, the play was written by Edward Albee. The screenplay written by Ernest Lehman. He also wrote Executive Suite, Sabrina, North by Northwest, The West Side Story, The Sound of Music. It was directed by Mike Nichols. He also directed The Graduate, Regarding Henry, The Birdcage, and Closer. It was nominated for 13 Oscars, and the 5 it won for was Best Actress in a Lead Role, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Cinematography, Costume Design, and Art Direction.
Did you think it was odd that the writer of the play didn't write the screenplay for this? Especially since they got someone who had never directed a movie to direct it?
No, I don't think that's odd at all. Since I listen to the podcast and that's usually the way it goes.
Yeah, but seeing that interview with the writer of the play, he seemed like he had very particular ideas about his own work. He seemed pretty high on himself about the play.
High on himself? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean high on himself?
He clearly...
It won a lot of awards. I guess he would be.
Yeah. Do you know of anything else that he did or wrote?
You meant movie-wise and not play-wise. He wrote other plays. I didn't bother to look because they're plays and this is a movie podcast, so I don't...
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed to me like he had a very...
He had opinions about it, yeah.
High estimation of his own work. And it seems like that personality type would not want to surrender their...
Well, he surely did.
Work to adaptation by somebody else.
And he said he thought it was more or less faithful to the play.
Yeah. A damn fine picture. Albee?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll be damned.
So the 6-7 will give you a 6 or 7 word synopsis that describes the movie. 1 good, which is what you would say to someone if you're trying to convince them to see the movie. 1 bad, if you're trying to dissuade them. You go first.
Okay.
Good or bad first? And don't say guess. Just tell me which one you're doing
Why not?
first.
More fun to guess. Fight, 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 fight.
Oh my God,
fight,
no. Give
fight.
a real one. That is how you would. That's no information, Brendan. But fine, keep that. What's the other one? You make this so difficult. What's another one? What's your other one?
Two couples self-destruct in the night.
Okay. Hopefully the fight was a bad one. That was your good one? That's a question.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
What's the bad one? The fight?
Yeah.
I don't
They're
think
both
so. You
bad.
look like you
I feel like
changed
it's
your
a
mind.
difficult play or a difficult movie to see. This one, I feel inverted. It's difficult to make this sound
interesting
because
okay. Because it's not to you.
I mean, I understand stuff being a byproduct of time and place.
We'll get into
this
it.
Is so
okay. Just wait.
Okay.
You don't make me forget mine. Okay. Bad. Married couple has guests at 2 a.m. A.m. counts as one word.
2 a.m. altogether counts as one.
No,
word.
2 is a word. A.m. is one word.
Married couple has
guests at 2 a.m.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. You made me forget the other one. God damn it. A struggling marriage reaches its breaking point. That was my other one. That was supposed to be the good one.
About a dead baby might.
What?
Or might not be real.
A dead baby?
Yeah.
A dead child? No, I don't. No. No. An actual synopsis from IMDb. A middle-aged New England associate professor and his wife, with the help of alcohol.
Someone else is having help from alcohol right now.
A middle-aged New England associate professor and his wife, with the help of alcohol, use their young guests to fuel anguish and emotional pain towards each other over the course of a distressing night.
Now, with alcohol.
What?
How you said it the first time. I'm just going back to how you found it.
What do you mean? How I said it the first time?
Alcohol.
Go
about
ahead.
What I said about pronouncing my own name sometimes.
Jesus
situationally.
Jesus Christ.
You know how to say alcohol.
Yes.
And you know you're going to say
but
it.
I'm reading.
Yes.
You're not reading your name when you say it.
You're reading it out of your mind.
You're reading it out of your mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you picture words spelled out when you say them, or when you're thinking of what to say to people sometimes?
No.
Never.
Do I picture them no, do you?
Not necessarily, but sometimes.
The only time I picture a word is if I'm having trouble spelling it. I will try to see what it looks like in my mind.
What's the last word?
Brendan, please. I don't know. Jesus Christ. So this is starring Elizabeth Taylor as Martha, Richard Burton, who she was married to at the time, as George Siegel as Nick.
And you said this was their first marriage.
Yes.
One of
2. Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You mean their marriages beside each other?
No. I'm talking about marriages to each other. They married twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. George Siegel.
And then Sandy Dennis is Honey. Like, love, hate, can't believe. Just how it sounds. You tell me one thing you like, one thing you love, one thing you hate, one thing you can't believe. Since this is my pick, I'll go first. I don't want to say this is a like per se, but I say I found it interesting that there are no reliable characters. Like, nobody is truthful.
What about the bar owner?
Okay, fine. Main characters. There were no main characters who were truthful. I loved the witty insults. Witty comedy.
You would categorize this as a witty comedy?
Yeah. Well, it's not a comedy, but yes. I hated just both of the marriages. They're just it's horrible. And I didn't believe any of the characters. Their actions or mannerisms were so over the top for me, which was strange because in the little extras, the playwright was like, I wrote a snapshot of truthful people. I was like, interesting. I don't get that at all. This seemed very much like a written performance to me, if that makes sense. Do you understand what I mean?
Unless this is a peek into
someone he knows.
The interiors of the higher education elite
Maybe
professionals that we don't
interact with
have any sort of insight into. But I mean, if that's the case, it just
we're not missing anything.
I can't imagine.
Okay, you go.
I like finding out after the fact that Elizabeth Taylor was pretty much unwanted, seemingly.
What?
For the role.
Unwanted? I think that's strong. Not preferred. And who do you mean by?
I don't know. All the interviews, it seemed like nobody thought Elizabeth could do it. Everyone thought she was the wrong choice.
Well, that's not wanted. It's just not suited for her usual role she would take, I guess. What else have you seen her in?
Giant.
Okay.
And her guest appearance on The Simpsons.
Okay.
As the voice of Maggie. She said one line.
I didn't see Giant. Love?
I love the performances, even though you describe Marty Supreme as the most unlikable character that you've ever seen in a movie, and I feel like all four of these characters are unredeemable.
Unredeemable. I wouldn't call the wife unredeemable, but she is slow in a bothersome way.
Talking about Honey?
Yeah.
Sandy Dennis. I like her. I thought she was the most seemingly genuine out of the quartet of the core actors.
They all rubbed me the wrong.
She has like a homespun, like a small town gal kind of mentality. And she seems
too simple for me. Yeah, she doesn't seem like she
outside of their.
Yeah, I will say that.
Yeah, like obviously her husband is duty bound to include her in this excursion and whatever the party was that they were at prior to this meeting. But you can tell not that he's embarrassed by her, but I guess there is some of that felt.
Something you hated?
I hated the movie. No, I didn't. But I did find it confounding that it's held in such high esteem and that it was so well regarded. And this goes into, again, being a snapshot of the time during which it was released, because apparently it was
a big deal.
So groundbreaking to have profanity. And this goes back to, I guess, the Hays Code stuff and them having the kind of everything has to be like a woman couldn't sleep with a man unless they were married and stuff had to be.
And usually if you did something bad, you had to receive punishment. Like you had to be punished for it.
Yeah. So I guess just even having curse words or sexual innuendo or, I mean, I wouldn't even call much of sexually explicit dialogue in any way.
So tame to me.
Yeah. So I get it leaving a mark or making a mark and being such a standout because of that. But I also think that violating those terms, I have such difficulty understanding how a mainstream audience did find this so appealing. Maybe it was just so tawdry at the time that they got absorbed in like, oh, saying bad words or seeing something that I'm not supposed to be seeing, because I feel like any dumb shit paying a nickel or whatever admission to go see this back when it was released.
Okay, surely it cost more than a nickel in 1966.
Oh yeah,
but
it wasn't Nickelodeon times, but paying whatever the price of admission was, and you see like high-minded stuff or something that would be considered literary or I don't know, appealing to intellectuals, even these days still is a tough sell to get a large audience. So I feel like depicting scholarly professors at a, did they say what university? I don't even remember.
New Carthage.
Okay.
Fictional New Carthage.
I just don't understand where their point of relation would be to it. Like, I don't see the entry point, because I feel like...
Well, you don't think just looking at people's marriages that aren't perfectly portrayed, you don't think that would have been of interest?
I do, but I also... I mean, they're coming from a party at 2 a.m. and returning back home.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably, this party didn't start at 1:30 a.m. and go
Right.
to 2 a.m. You would assume it was maybe, at the very least, after dinner.
No, I feel like they had... Wait, what are you talking about? The original party?
Yeah, the
I feel
party
like that one was probably a dinner party.
It was probably dinner and then all the way
Till 2.
till
Yes.
2. Yes.
So what are you saying?
Within the first 20 minutes of the movie, after they've returned home, they have no less than 5 straight liquor drinks.
Yeah.
That's on top of, at the end of whatever 6-hour
said, "Haven't you already
marathon
had
of
enough?"
drinking.
So what are you saying? You don't believe that they will still be standing?
Absolutely not.
Well, you heard
And
us say-
especially
you
not
heard us say, "I could
delivering
drink you
this
under the
hard
table."
dialogue.
They're very smart.
Yeah, well,
Or
Mr. Albee thinking that he's creating such a realistic portrayal of what
all right,
this
let's
is
get
like
into
the
the plot.
time he can go fuck himself.
So it opens on a full moon. We see some older buildings. We're not quite sure where we are, but then we see people leaving a building. 2 couples are walking out. They say goodnight. And eventually we learn that 2 of them are George and Martha, and they're walking across campus to their house. She's laughing loudly. He's trying to quiet her. He mentions that it's 2 a.m. I'm guessing it's fall. They have on coats. There's a bunch of leaves blowing on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Seems like, I don't know if you looked up where New Carthage is.
It's supposed to be New England.
Seemed like New England, yeah.
You're
to
going to
me.
say that?
Yeah.
New Carthage is nowhere. It's fictional.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
They get home. Martha looks around and she says, "Geez, what a dump." And she asks George what movie that line is from. And she's trying to recall what Betty Davis film she says that in.
I'm going to try to do an imitation of it.
Well, do you want me to do how Elizabeth Taylor does it? Because that's not the line reading that Betty Davis gives in the movie.
Do it both ways, because I don't know the original Betty Davis one.
I haven't even seen it. I only saw a clip of Betty Davis's Beyond the Forest.
Okay.
But I do think she did a good impression of Betty Davis, just not that particular line reading. Like that's so she did excellent if she was in general imitating Betty Davis. What do you want me to do? I can't.
Just try to do it.
I'll try to do what Elizabeth did. You know I hate this. Why do you make me do this?
This is fun.
To who? What a dump. I can't do it. That's the best I got. And George could not be less interested in what she's talking about.
And why is she saying that, though?
I mean, the house is untidy, if that's what you mean.
Okay.
And it's an older house.
And they're going around, like, trying to...
Well, there's no cleaning up yet.
Okay.
I'll get to that because something's not right.
What is that from? What a dump.
So It's Beyond the Forest, 1949, I believe, if anybody's interested. So they moved into the kitchen now. She asked him to make a drink. He mentions, haven't you had enough? And he was like, I guess a nightcap won't hurt us. She was like, please, a nightcap. So eventually they make their way upstairs, and we've learned that they've just come from a faculty party hosted by her father. And she eventually lets them know that they're having visitors.
The father is the president of
Yes,
the
which we don't know
university.
yet, but yes.
Okay.
So I don't understand this off rip. I was like, who is inviting strangers over at 2 a.m.? It sounds insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says that, not in those words. And she was like, well, Daddy said to be nice. And he was like, surely he didn't mean at 2 a.m. Like, all of this, so it even starts strange. They move to the bedroom. She mentions that he's a new professor in the math department and he has a wife with no hips.
Well, and especially from this time period when I don't know, you think of people as being more mannerly.
Mm-hmm.
And, don't call after the sun goes down or something you would think would be a violation of social etiquette or social norms. Yeah,
it's strange.
Ringing during the dinner hour? How dare you?
And I don't know if I'm assuming it's maybe a small college town, but how did taxis, I feel like taxis used to, I don't know this at all. But in my mind, in a small town, you won't be able to get a taxi just anytime you want. So how are they going to get home? I don't know.
You're talking about the visiting couple?
Yes, the visiting couple. Because he mentions that they're at the inn until their place gets ready. So George asks if the husband, is good looking and well built. She's like, yeah. So she's talking, fixing her face. She's cleaning up the bedroom, and I'm using the word cleaning loosely. She's just hiding clothes somewhere else.
Putting plates in drawers.
Yeah, so then I was like, well, why is they're not going to be in her bedroom unless they are. Why is she already cleaning up? Not why is she cleaning up, but why bother with the bedroom if your guests won't be in there?
Yeah, I mean, unless
this
inviting somebody into your home, like a formality would be
show them around. Well, she does mention that, but
yeah.
I guess. So she's fixing her hair. George is laid down on the bed for, I don't know, to take a 3-minute rest. So at this point, they're bickering, but it's still a little playful. So I was just like, oh, they're just a old married couple who they're tired of each other, but they're still in love. So they're laughing or whatnot. She starts singing the song we'll hear multiple times, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? And she was like, why aren't you laughing? You laughed at the party. Eventually, she asks him for a kiss. He declines, and he's walking downstairs, and she asks, why don't you want to kiss me? But he's already downstairs. So we continue, because she follows him downstairs, and she asks again. And he says, I'd have to take you by force on the floor. And then
he says, I couldn't kiss you because I would get excited, and then I'd have to take you by force on the rug.
And the guests will walk in, and what would your daddy say about that? And she giggles. So she's cleaning, tidying up a little bit. She pours the empty or half-drank liquor glasses into the plant. You saw her? I'm like, what is happening? So he reminds her not to mention the bit. I think he calls it a bit at first. Yeah, don't start in on the bit. And she's like, what bit? He says a bit about the kid. And she's like, I'll start on it if I want. So we're like, what bit? What kid? What? The doorbell rings. She's yelling at him as he opens the door. And when the door opens, they're like, oh. She's like, come in. Honey compliments the house, and it's pretty quiet at first. Nick asks about the painting, asks them what they're going to have to drink. Honey says, brandy, never mix, never worry. And what'd you say this means? If you don't mix alcohol, you don't have to worry about getting sick? Or
I was thinking it could be taken two ways. It could either be that, as long as you don't jump around, because that's that's a slippery slope with drinking. You don't drink beer and wine and tequila and whiskey and all manners of alcohol. Or not having to mix it with anything is easier because you just are pouring from one bottle into a glass.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about making a cocktail. You're just giving somebody a drink.
He asked Martha if she wants rubbing alcohol.
It should
rubbing
also,
alcohol.
they're also fiendishly
Who?
chugging cigarettes.
Does George smoke? I don't think I see him smoke.
No, I'm saying,
Martha.
yeah.
Yeah, she smoke. I didn't see George doesn't smoke. I mean, he might, but he doesn't smoke in this.
Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor.
What about them?
They are smoking cigarettes constantly.
When do you see George smoke a cigarette is what I'm asking you. I don't notice that. I said I only see Martha lighting up repeatedly.
Was it? I could have swore him too.
Mm-mm.
Could it be?
Martha starts singing Virginia Woolf thing again and starts laughing. Honey joins in and says, yeah, that was very funny. And they're saying how nice her father is. And we notice that Martha rubs Nick. We didn't say their names. Oh, yes, we did at the beginning. Rubs Nick on his knee. Which I guess that's not, I mean, I would be bothered if somebody touched me on my knee. Am I weird?
No. Especially if you'd only just recently been introduced. Now you're being invited into somebody's house at 2 a.m. Well, I guess there's already boundaries being crossed. Just the fact that this meeting is taking place.
And this is where you find out that her father is the president. Because George started saying there are easier things in this world than being married to the daughter of the president of the university. So Honey mentions that she needs to use the restroom, and Martha shows her and says she wants to show her the house anyway. George reminds her before she leaves not to bring up you know who. Did you have any idea what was?
No, this whole central conceit
It's insane, right?
The wildest,
craziest.
The fact that it is like the emotional linchpin to them too is even more confounding. I mean, it was just.
If they wouldn't have explained it, I wouldn't have. Well, not that. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed it. I mean, I guess so. There are little hints that you're like, why don't they know the color of their child's eyes? And
I couldn't imagine watching this at the time and people being. I don't understand any emotional impact resulting from this being the contrivance of the screenplay or of their relationship to each other. It's so bizarre. It doesn't. Was this something that people used to do? It's so strange.
It's so strange.
Like, we will often joke with each other
about our future kids.
Yeah.
And them having our bad habits, but we're not like.
It's not some sick backstory about how they died tragically at age 16. Like, it's so fucking
bizarre. It's bizarre.
I mean, I couldn't make heads or tails of it. It was so. I don't know. By the time it got to that, it's just the chugging along, and you do think it's going to be some big, heavy impact reveal, mm-hmm. And it was just nothing. It would have been more of an impact if they had like a doll that they were personifying, or like a ventriloquist dummy. Oh my God. At least then it would have been like emotionally disturbing and be like, these people are fucking sickos. It's so much weirder that it's just some thing between them that I don't.
And also that they also argue about the baby being not fucked up, but the kid having issues because they have issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they didn't even try to. I don't know.
Or that there would have been a reveal of like she was barren or had some sort of accident that prevented her from having kids, or he had his dick shot off in the war or something, like something that would have made a deeper
difference
core to that story.
Issues?
Something real that made this imaginary child, I don't know, makes sense in terms of their relationship to each other. Like they couldn't have a child, and then they came up with this big illustrative backstory of an imaginary kid that they never had, or like adopt a kid, or I don't know. It was just people must have been out of their fucking minds back then that this was like a hugely successful. I just
can't imagine.
No, it registered nothing on an emotional scale for me at all.
Yes. I did want to point out a line I forgot. Before they open the door, he says,
the truest emotional beat, like I said, is the bar owner coming out and yelling at them.
What?
It's like the only honest emotional reaction in the entire movie.
Okay, but wait. He tells her there's nothing more disturbing than when you get 2 drinks in you and have your skirt over your head. He also tells her that before she opens the door. So just want to put that out there. Woo. All right. So Honey and Martha go upstairs. George and Nick are left, and he's giving Nick a hard time. He learns he's actually in the biology department, not the math department. And Nick is like, it seems like y'all are in the middle of a fight. We should probably go. And George is like, we're not fighting. We're just exercising our wits. He's like, I don't want to be involved in other people's affairs. George says, it's a small college and all. You'll get used to it. Musical beds is a faculty sport. I'm like, oh, okay. So we learned that Nick and Honey are in their 20s. Martha and George are supposed to be in their 40s. And then, yeah, this bothered me too. George comes and sits by Nick, like right beside him, and puts his arm around him. I'm like, what? This is too much. You in the bubble. Like, they have no respect for people's personal space. I was like, I gotta get out of here. Asks Nick if they have kids. He says, no, we wanted to wait until we were settled. Nick asked George if they have kids. He was like, that's for me to know and for you to find out, which is a weird thing to say to somebody. Like, it's a straight up yes or no, but I guess he knew Martha was going to be on some bullshit tonight. He asked if he liked it at New Carthage, and
they are also like
who?
Force feeding more alcohol to them.
I don't know about force feeding.
He's like grabbing the glass out of
at that point.
Nick's
because it splashes.
and refilling it and topping it off and like almost.
But Honey doesn't need any convincing to keep drinking.
Yeah, and then it also should be stated that beyond this exercising their wits, which these are the interesting elements of it, and the thing that makes it interesting to watch, even though the material itself to me is not compelling, and the emotional devastation wrought from this
did nothing for us.
It is interesting to see the gamesmanship of this. Like, there is an element of testing the boundaries, seeing how far they could be pushed at any given moment, and then trying to draw back in and trying to pour more alcohol into it. And I don't, the newness of these people and their youth by comparison to them being an older couple entrenched with each other at this point.
Yeah.
That they're like sucking them into this spider web, but there is so much that rings false. I feel like I say that way too much, of just George seemingly from get wants nothing to do with any of this situation.
You mean like even having visitors at all?
Yes.
Yeah, like
He's expressing it
I'm
from
on
the
his side.
outset.
Like, what the fuck?
So that's where it becomes less believable the longer it goes on, because he does have this like elder statesman quality about him. I know he's older. I don't know.
48, he says.
But how much older than Elizabeth Taylor was he
Oh,
at
in
the
real life?
time in real life? They had a 20-year age gap.
You know what? Maybe, because the guy was like, Richard Burton was 5 years too old and she was 20 years too young, but she looked, I would have pegged her
Done
in
her up
early
with hair
40s
and
to me.
makeup, I'm sure, but
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
yes. So he
I want to see.
is convincing. He delivers such a good performance. They all deliver great performances. But there is something about his character and the way that he carries himself and the fact that he expresses that he doesn't want to be part of it, to where,
Like, why are you still, and they try to leave.
yes. So that's where it becomes less believable, or it just didn't, it never clicked into place why he continues to participate
He was
all the
only
way
41.
through to the end. When it was filmed?
Yeah,
And she was how old?
I'm about to see.
Because I know they had a big, I mean, it's probably nothing compared to what goes on these
She was
days.
7 years older, so she was 34?
She
Younger.
7 years younger.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. 34 and 41. Why'd they say he was... you know what? I might come... What is middle age?
Back then, I guess it was 30s. I don't know.
That's... Jesus. Okay.
They wanted her to be 14 and him to be
I don't know.
35.
Yeah, that was a strange comment. I don't know. I don't know what's going on
They
there.
wanted Elvis age gaps.
So... Okay, so yeah, that's one thing you had trouble believing. Like, anybody can leave at any time. Like, why do they want these people to stay so badly? And they switch off and on between it, too.
Yes, and I feel like I am of a sort that
What?
I would be the type who would be like, this is crazy that these people are acting like this.
In
Like,
front of
I
us.
I would be
Uncomfortable.
yes, but I would also be of the type that I'd be like, I want to see what happens
Really?
here. Probably when he brings out the fake shotgun.
You would have wanted to stay after that? I would like, we gotta fucking go.
Yeah, that would have been when I had left, because if he has a fake gun that shoots an umbrella out the end of it, which why was that even made by anybody?
Yeah, or maybe for a clown act.
Besides a prop department, or
Yeah.
if you're doing some
clown
sort of vaudeville act.
Okay.
If they have that in their house, there probably is a real gun in there somewhere.
Okay.
And if they're already out of their fucking minds on alcohol to a degree where, like, I mean, it's, there's no way they would have been able to walk home from the party if they were drinking at the pace with which they continue drinking.
Well, maybe,
after they
you know what I'm
return
thinking?
home.
That there is public facing behavior versus private. So I think she had more than enough at the party, but it wasn't what you're thinking. Do you know what I mean? Like, if her dad was there, I don't think she's like tossing them back left and right, or at least she's trying to sneak them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like anytime when they're referencing back at the party, he is taking jabs at how she was behaving there too.
Yeah, he says braying to describe her left.
So yeah, they're separate now.
Yeah. So again, George asked Nick how he likes it, and Nick starts looking around like he meant the house, and he was like, "It's fine." George was like, "I meant the college, not the house." He's just really being short with the dude, or terse. But anyway, but when he said New Carthage, like, the only thing I know of Carthage is like ruins of Carthage. I was like, "Oh, this not good. We're just gonna see their marriage disintegrate." But anyway,
now their house.
yeah.
I mean, we kind of described it a little bit. It's very busy. It's not like a hoarder house.
No, it's not. But they have a lot of things.
Yeah.
Books on top of books.
It looks like an antique store or thrift store or something. Like, there are shelves everywhere. There are books. There's,
what are those? Organ symbols? What are those behind the door that's clanging every time somebody knocks it?
oh, well,
Chimes?
even where their bed is.
There's a bookcase of books behind it.
Yeah, there's like not a headboard or anything.
Mm-hmm.
There is a bookcase with books, and the mattress is like pressing into the shelves and into the books. It's
acting as a headboard.
Yeah. I figured that would have bothered you more, just from an interior design standpoint.
No, I don't know. So, as George is asking Nick how many kids they're going to have, we go out to the hallway and we see Honey on the stairs listening. And she makes sort of a face when he was like, oh, I don't know. Like you mentioned, my wife is slim hipped. But anyway, she comes down. She's like, Nick, you must see this house. George asks where Martha is. She was like, oh, she's changing. And he was like, why? She was like, I guess he wanted to be more comfortable. And then she starts to speak some more. And he's like, you don't know. She like scurries off to her husband like, oh. I don't know why you're being so short. And she was like, oh, I didn't know you had a son. His birthday's tomorrow. His head whips around. He was like, what? She was like, yeah, he'll be 16. He was like, she told you about him. She was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, he was like, oh, okay, Martha. Okay, Martha.
Yeah, and like the camera work and everything here is like things have changed. Like now things got real.
Like the camera work. It just bothered me. On some of them, like I feel like some of the close-ups weren't warranted. Like sometimes when the drinks were getting poured, like why are we zooming in on them pouring a drink? I don't know, just some of it bothered me.
Yeah, I like a lot of it, and like the blocking of the scenes. I'm sure a lot of that was probably taken from the stage production. Oh, we should mention, because this is based on a play, like all of it takes place in the house, the backyard, and then we go to one more location. But besides that, that I think was the secondary location was added in for the movie.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I think that might have said in one of the featurettes or
I missed
something that I read about it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, as far as the blocking of like when they're all four in the room together, the moving around and
yeah, that was done well. They asked if they could help themselves to the bar. He was like, yeah, you'll need it as the years go on. Honey tries to leave, and Nick was like, we'll go on a little bit. So I don't even know why everybody keeps flip-flopping about whether or not they want to leave.
Yes, and it also, whatever perceived benefit
of hanging out with them.
Yeah, like what ultimately does he think he would be able to garner out of
being the president eventually?
In the middle of the night with the daughter of the president.
But they're all under the impression it's beneficial.
Who is married, yeah.
She even says it.
Everybody but George.
No, George. What? Did you not miss the conversation when they were outside by the tire? He was like, you need to plow wives to get somewhere. Permanent wives.
Yes.
He was like, what do you mean?
But I was taking a lot of what he was saying in all of these instances as that he's just trying to create. Yes. Almost the entirety of their interaction with these people, I felt like it was just them fucking with them and exercising their own personal shit. No, I think he
meant it when he said musical beds was a faculty sport. I feel like there's some sleeping around going on. I don't know how that benefits anybody for real, but.
Well, that's like where you said as far as not trusting
any character,
any of the characters or any of the information. That is another thread that was lost on me too. There's nothing to grasp onto as a baseline of where the truth lies with this situation, which is essentially true of anybody that you meet. You don't really know because they're controlling the narrative of whatever's going on. So you're new to this environment and suddenly you're being introduced to the daughter of the president and her husband, but it's 2 a.m.
I would have declined off rip. You would have came back to me and be like, oh, we're going over to the daughter's house. No, we're not. Are you drunk? I wouldn't have went.
And what about having people over
at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
If they were close friends and we had just left a big celebration or something and nobody wanted the party to die down, I guess. But you also know I wouldn't be in a situation. Unless they needed somewhere to stay because they were too drunk to drive.
How quick do you think you could tidy up?
I see y'all in 2 weeks. Anyway, Martha comes down in another outfit, and I'm guessing this is supposed to be seductive, because Nick was like, oh, and Honey was like, oh, that's attractive. I was like, she looked better in the other outfit, but I guess it's just some tight pants and a top. But
And again, like, you changing wardrobe at 2:30 in the morning.
she has plans, apparently. Yeah. So Martha and Nick sit on the sofa together. And I know we're not saying all the barbs, but she's constantly calling George names. And he's constantly jabbing at her. Not really names, but just what he says.
It is funny. The dialogue is funny, and it keeps you
engaged.
Now,
yeah.
I had only seen this movie once before, and I remembered being completely stymied by
the ending.
Just because I don't know what preconception. I guess I didn't really have one. I didn't know what it was about.
Me either. Oh God, the trailer.
And I would have never guessed that the movie was just about this. Just people drunkenly going at each other.
The trailer just has everybody laughing and Honey dancing, I think. And he was like, what more needs to be said? It's Elizabeth Taylor and Burton. I was like, this trailer is not.
And knowing that it's so lauded and that it was a critical darling and it was so successful, and knowing it was, I guess I also didn't realize that Elizabeth Taylor was, I don't want to say disrespected, but she wasn't like a well-regarded actress. Apparently, she was seen as a star, but not
pretty face.
Yeah. So this and Giant, which is another.
Did you enjoy Giant?
Critical hit. I remembered liking it a lot. Okay. I couldn't tell you one fucking thing that happens in it except James Dean is a ranch hand, and she's in it. I don't remember a single thing that happens in it. I know it's long. It was like 3 hours and 40 minutes long. But yeah, so I had no idea, and she won for this. So in my mind, I thought, oh, that's why she was a star at the time, was because she was a great actress. But I guess shows what I know.
Well, I looked at the other nominees for that year, and I didn't know any of the shit. I was like, oh, well, I can't comment on whether or not this deserved it or not.
66. So this is around Mad Men time.
Yeah. She asked George to light her cigarette. I don't know what he's on about here. He was like, that would move me down 2 rungs on the evolutionary ladder, so I'll do anything. I'll hold your hand, but I'm not lighting your cigarette. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Anyway, Nick likes the bitch, and they give a close-up on that. I was like, okay. He used to box. She was like, oh, did you keep your body? And this was weird. Honey was like, yes, he has a very firm body. I'm like, what? What? Strange people. And then she starts talking about the boxing match where they had some plate gloves and she hit George. And at this point, we're following George to a back storage closet and we see him grab a gun. He comes back in and he aims it at the back of Martha's head.
Honey glimpses it, yeah.
And
she
yells,
screams.
Which scares Nick, and he turns around. And then we get a close-up item by this reaction shot that they had of Martha. But then he pulls it and the umbrella pops out and everybody's laughing.
He says, pow, you're dead.
Yeah. She was like, where'd you get that? He's like, oh, I got it a while ago. You like that?
Oh, yeah. After the umbrella comes out, then she loves it.
Yeah.
She's laughing and she thinks it's great because he really got her to think that he was going to execute her.
No, because when he's fixing the drink, he was like, did you really think I was going to shoot you? She was like, please. And he was like, well, I might one day. I might kill you one day. She wasn't worried at all.
The look on her face.
Her face says it, but she's acting like, yeah, right. You don't have the balls to kill me.
Yes, that's like the power dynamic, the power struggle. Well, that was kind of what I was wanting to get at with the Virginia Woolf thing, is that I haven't read any thing that she wrote. My only exposure to her, besides this, apparently, which
I feel
has
like I read
nothing
A
to
Room
do
of
with her.
One's Own in a class, but I couldn't tell you.
You did
I know I did. I can't tell you anything about it, though.
in college, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one in high school.
No. Anyway, what about it?
There's a movie called The Hours that was based off a
Okay.
Pulitzer Prize winning novel that is about. It's a triptych.
Sounds familiar.
That Virginia Woolf is one of the characters in the book and the movie.
Okay.
She's played by Nicole Kidman. She had like a big prosthetic nose. It was a big deal when it came out. It's her, Julianne Moore, and Meryl Streep. And that movie is all about suicide. It's like all the three of them attempt suicide at some point in the movie. But I guess from what I gleaned reading stuff about that at the time when the movie came out, because I remember liking the movie a lot. Virginia Woolf, yes. Her writings were a lot
dark,
like a launching or explorations of like birthing modern feminism in a way, and the interiority of the female perspective, and that A Room of One's Own was pretty much specifically about that, like a woman having her own room instead of being relegated to being in servitude of the family or the household or the man, the husband, whatever. So that being kind of an essential component of this, the struggling between the man, woman, the older, the younger, and all that. Like, I get it, and the exercising our wits and all of that plays into it. Again, it still amounts to not really having any meaningful. It doesn't amount to anything meaningful, I feel like, to you or I. It's just,
listen, all I saw was a toxic relationship. I was like, I don't know how the fuck these people are staying in this. Like, I couldn't. My feelings would be hurt. Like, I couldn't take all that.
yeah, the resonance of it doesn't have any resonance. To me, the takeaway, scene after scene, exchange after exchange, is like, anybody could just walk away from this situation.
You mean marriage too? You mean the visiting hours and the marriage?
The entirety of it, yes. Also, all of it.
I think he stays Nick because of the money. Martha and George are just used to each other. But she says she loves him. He makes her happy. I don't know.
Yeah, you get the essence of somewhere there was. I mean, that's probably standing on the shoulders of the fact that they were a real couple in real life. But I don't know.
Okay.
Again, within the framework of the movie, the glimpses of that,
fleeting.
It does not seem like a good relationship with frayed edges or something.
Right.
Or
it seems all bad with maybe they like each other for 30 seconds at a time every other day.
Yes, the little glimpses where they seem to be
playful.
Be actually playful and in tune with each other do not indicate strongly enough that there was ever anything to their relationship that was tenable as love or marriage or foundation, whatever. But
well,
I guess
the next little part, she goes into it. So she was like, I did fall for him way back then. She goes on about George isn't ever going to take over the history department. She's come at him like he's a failed person. I guess the plan was for him to, but why? Why does it matter? I guess she's just concerned about status, I would guess. I don't know. And at this point, Honey is sweating, I guess, from all the alcohol. So she's took her headband off.
Yeah, I mean, she's drinking brandy, which is it's fortified wine, basically. So it's high sugar content, high alcohol. She's slim-hipped.
Mm-hmm.
She's petite girl to begin with, so drinking strong brandy at 2 a.m., I'm sure is flipping her upside down.
So George, well, actually, Honey, That's what I was getting at. Honey says, so when is your son coming home? And George repeats the question to Martha. She was like, oh, I'm sorry I brought it up. I don't want to talk about it. And he's like, no, you talk about it. And Honey's like, yeah, when is he coming home? And Martha says George doesn't like to talk about their son because he has problems. George does. And it's because he's not completely sure it's his. This is another thing, like the fake son, y'all even introducing that it's possible that George isn't the father of the son. But that pisses George off. He was like, I'm absolutely sure of my partnership in the creation of our blonde-eyed, blue-haired son.
Blonde-eyed, blue-haired. What?
I wrote that.
At this point, Nick and Honey should have caught on right away that this wasn't a real child.
Shut up. But at one point, Martha does say, dang, she said something crazy like that. She says she doesn't have blue hair or blue eyes for that matter. She does say something crazy like that. Although mine was accidental and hers probably from drunkenness, but she does get some words mixed up. So, Martha was like, our son has green eyes, not blue. So at this point, you're like, what the fuck? So you're assuming he's dead, maybe. Because I'm like, there's no way they don't know the color of the child's eyes, but maybe. And he was like, no, they're blue. And he was like, she was like, tell yourself, you floozy. And then Honey, I was like, uh-oh. Honey was like, oh, he's not a floozy. You're a floozy, but she's drunk. Martha's like, all right, you better watch yourself. It's like, oh no, she's gonna jump on her. So we could really tell that Honey's fucked up. She's like, all right, I'll have another little nipper of brandy, please. I wish we should count how many drinks that are poured.
It was, I stopped trying to count. That's what I'm saying. Within the first 20 minutes of the movie.
And the fact that they're straight liquor.
5 drinks. And these aren't like
small pours.
Drips, yes. These are heavy pours. Like
no mix.
Yeah. Ice. They go through the ice.
Yeah.
But.
Whew. So yeah, she goes on about how they got together and how he's never going to do anything significant. He was like, you need to shut up. Like, you're going too far. And she keeps going.
You know what we should have done is.
Take a drink when they took a drink.
Tried to drink as much as they did in the first 20 minutes of speaking to each other about the movie.
While we're doing the podcast.
See how it went after that. See how well we could spontaneously converse with each other.
I don't know.
See how quick you grab the umbrella shotgun and try to kill me.
So George keeps telling her to shut up, and he's trying to warn her like she's going too far. She keeps going, so eventually he breaks a bottle of alcohol. And then she was like, what did she say? I hope that wasn't a full bottle, George. You can't afford good liquor on an associate professor's salary. So George grabs Honey and spins her around and starts saying, who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? And she gets sick. She was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So she runs to go throw up.
This too, if you're Nick, even if you hate your wife, you would let some guy that you just met just start spinning her around wildly, like.
Well, it didn't look like he was hurting her, but I would have been like, "This is strange. Like, what are y'all doing?" It's everything. Everybody's reactions to everything is strange.
He doesn't even go like, "Hey." There is no attempt at interference from anybody to stop it from happening.
So Martha follows her to the restroom. George goes outside. He's in a funk now, and he sits on the swing. So Nick looks out, and he eventually follows. And Nick is saying that Honey's sick, and she's always sick. So did you get the impression that she throws up on purpose? Is that what this was getting at? Or she drinks a lot and has to throw up? Like, what were you getting at? Or what did you think?
Yeah, I was thinking about getting sick when she drinks, because that's what I interpreted her selecting brandy as her drink, and they were like,
okay.
Brandy, I mean, I don't know. People can drink however they want, but I think generally it's like brandy and cigars. You know, you take a pour of brandy. I don't know. People typically would sit there pounding brandy all night, have a real fucked up hangover the next day for sure. Or you'd get sick and throw up, especially if somebody was spinning you around endlessly in their living room.
So George says Martha's never been sick unless you count the time she spent in a rest home. What do you think a rest home is? A place to dry out if you're too fucked up, or?
Yeah, I was thinking like
Okay.
convalescent home or, yeah, uh, I don't know, different term they used at the time for.
Well, I did. I look it up, but all I
rehab.
got back was nursing home. I was like, that can't be what they were talking about. So it
Calling her
must
an
be.
old bitch, maybe.
Nick shares that he married Honey because
So when they're exiting the house here and
Uh-huh.
going outside to the swing, this is where you get a sense of some sort of calming down, and Nick's starting to express. But then all of that goes out the window too, and it just goes right back into
the
the
mania.
gamesmanship. Yeah.
So he shares that he married Honey because he thought she was pregnant, but it was a hysterical pregnancy. And George's face lights up with that, like he finds it interesting. I was like, oh, he's a gossip. And then out of nowhere, he shares this story about being in prep school back during the Punic Wars, which is funny. Well, not funny, but
Said in jest.
yeah. He's like, there was a gin mill, and they went to get drinks before they all went home for vacation, and one of the boys' father was a gangster. So everybody was ordering drinks. There was this one boy who he ordered Bergen instead of bourbon, and everybody thought it was funny, and every table started ordering it like that. And apparently he had shot his mother accidentally the summer before. There was no point to that story. And then Nick asked, well, what happened to him? And George says, I won't tell you. But then he immediately tells them. He was like, well, one summer he was driving with his father and he swerved to avoid a porcupine and he ran into a big tree and the father died. And then the boy was laughing hysterically and he didn't stop until they gave him a shot. And I've been told he's in the asylum and he hasn't uttered a word since. I was like, oh no.
Quick,
what?
give her a shot.
So Martha, he was like, Martha doesn't have hysterical pregnancy. She doesn't have pregnancies at all. So then I guess that was a little clue there. He's about to say, or he does say, I'd like to set you straight about something Martha said. And when he says that, Martha interrupts from the door. She was like, what are y'all doing? I think Nick asked after Honey, maybe. She was like, she's fine. I'm going to make some coffee. Or she mentions coffee before he leaves. But anyway, she was like,
Jesus, drinking coffee at
4 now? What time is it? Probably 2:45.
Yeah.
She was like, you just stay there and listen to George's side of things. So anyway, Nick eventually shares that Honey has money because her father was a preacher and he traveled around baptizing people.
You could even get rich from the church back then.
There's money. And then George shares that Martha's father has money from the second wife. And then George eventually says, I've been telling you all this stuff to draw you out because you present a direct threat to me. And then he tells him you have to plow permanent wives. The way to man's job is through his wife. And don't you forget it. Nichols like, I bet your wife has the widest, most inviting avenue on campus. And George, he almost looks offended, but then he finds it amusing. Then Nick sits up.
Yeah, the perceived defense is almost like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And envious that he didn't have a dig that hard at her for the same thing, or that he beat him to it.
Yeah, because Nick sits up. He was like, I almost think you're serious. And George was like, no, you almost think you're serious and it scares you. He was like, I'm trying to warn you. And I don't know exactly where the tiff happens here. Not that it's a tiff, but at some point Nick doesn't appreciate him telling him that he's trying to warn him or something. I don't know, because he starts walking back to the house and he's like, he doesn't say screw you. What word does he say before he goes into the house? Because George is like, what? I think he said screw you or something like that.
Go screw, maybe.
No, it won't go screw. It's something dumb. So they go back inside. Nick is putting on Honey's coat. He was like, we're leaving. And Martha's like, what happened? And George is like, well, I'll go get the car. So next we're in the car. George is, what do you call
this
that?
is
Taking a corner crazy style.
The reckless abandon here without hesitancy. There is no discussion or...
Oh, about driving drunk?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just, back then it was people did it indiscriminately.
Illegal,
obviously, yeah. You could get a ticket for it, but...
Oh, what you were calling back to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
So they're driving. It's George and Martha in the front seat, of course. Nick and Honey in the back. And Honey's like, I could use some brandy. It steadies me. George says, oh, I used to drink brandy. And Martha was like, you used to drink Bergen, too. And then Nick was like, what? What'd you say? And Martha's like, oh, did he tell you about that? And she was like, did he also tell you that he tried to publish a book and my daddy wouldn't let him? George is like, shut up. Then Honey's like, oh, I like to dance. They pass a little bar. Martha tells George to stop the car. He was like, no. She was like, yes, stop the car. So we get this bad transition. Not bad. I didn't appreciate it. He turns the wheel crazy style again, and you hear the tires squeak or squeal. What do you call that?
This is like you pulling in a mango curry.
Anyway, and so the camera shot is on top of Honey looking down, and she's spinning around dancing. And Jesus, So this to me isn't drunk. It's, I don't know. It just seems childish and slow on the mind the way she's acting. I don't know.
No,
You've seen drunk people act like this?
Oh, yeah.
This is annoying.
Absolutely.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, you've heard the
What?
people that can't hold their liquor, can't hold their alcohol. And people really
act like that?
Yeah, it's what are the, I don't know
what
the commonly used sayings or the adages, but the basic templates are usually like,
you're truthful.
It'll either reveal your true nature or I don't know. They say about it removing inhibitions. People will do things that they wouldn't ever do normally.
You're right. I'm more social when I'm drunk.
Yeah, but the baseline for anybody is they'll either do something that they regret and then try to never drink ever, or
they enjoy who they are when they're drunk. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like anybody who knows themselves well enough, regardless of being under the influence of whatever substances, like nobody could realistically convince me if I were to black out or brown out and lose a portion of...
What's brown out?
When you don't lose the entire night, but you like that whole hour of time you don't remember what happened or whatever. Nobody could convince me of something like, oh man, you went crazy and did this or that, because I know that I wouldn't, because I know that no matter the drunkest or the most messed up I've ever been, that I know the limitations of what I would or would not do.
And I would fall asleep before I did anything.
Like, you punched a woman in the face or something. Like, no, I fucking didn't.
Okay. So they're in the bar. George is searching for something to play on a jukebox. And he asks how they're going to pair off. And Martha's like, well, I'm not dancing with you.
So this was actually like one of my favorite gags of the entire...
What?
Thing.
What gag? What do you mean gag?
The first song that he plays.
Which is what?
Plays like...
Dang, and...
It wasn't God Bless America, but it's basically like...
something. I wrote it down, but I guess I didn't because now it's not here.
Yeah, it was like a military march or like some patriotic song, which I couldn't believe, and I didn't remember this at all from when I saw it.
The first time?
The first time I saw it was they would do... Well, they still do. At the Florida Film Festival, the closing night retro movie, they selected older film, and they do that as the very final film is a quote unquote classic movie instead of something new or something that's trying to get exposure, which I think is a great way to end a film festival. So me not having ever seen it, I was like, oh yeah, this, I feel like especially then should have been something that stood out to me more. I think probably because of how
insane
off guard the movie caught me, that this didn't stand out to me at the time. But I mean, this is like a favorite pastime of mine, is playing goof songs on the jukebox at the bar.
Oh,
That is, I mean, it's different because it's just the four of them in this place. It's totally empty. There are no other patrons in there at all.
I don't know why in 1966 a place would be open at 4 a.m. But maybe.
But if you're a guy in there and maybe you live in the room adjacent to the facility or something, like, yeah, people are going to come in and pay. Why not? Let them run around and dance like assholes. But yeah, playing a goof song like this as a prank in a full bar is funny. Seeing how people react to it, or seeing how long it takes before someone's like, what the fuck is this?
Well, Martha was on it right away. She was like, cut this off.
Yeah.
And he was like, after she says, well, I'm not dancing with you, he was like, yeah, you're right, especially not with Twinkle Toes over there. He was motioning to Honey because she's still dancing by herself. So Honey tells Nick to leave her alone. You're always at me when I'm having a good time. So she goes to sit down, and she's like, if I can't dance my interpretive dance, I'm not dancing at all. So Martha asks Nick to dance, and they're dancing. Provocative isn't the word. What word am I looking for? Suggestively, maybe?
Yeah.
It looks
not seductive.
No, not seductive. Anyway, they're dancing close as fuck, grinding, I guess you could call it, making circles with their hips. So as this is going on, Martha's telling Nick about the book that George was trying to get published. And he was like, I'm warning you, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. Jesus, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. And she keeps going. She says the novel was about a boy who murdered his mother accidentally, or tried to pass it off as an accident, and then ended up killing his father as well. And that when he showed it to his father, the father was like, if you publish this, you're going to be out on your ass or something to that effect.
Showed it to her father, the president of the university.
Yeah. And and George, she says that George says, this is not a novel, this is my truth or whatnot. So George yanks the plug out of the jukebox. And Honey, this part bothered me. Honey's drunk as fuck, but she's clapping, ooh, violence, violence. I'm like, what? What? And George continues, he's like, I'm not going to be made mock of. This game is over. So.
And she said too, when they're back at the house before they leave and do all this.
What?
When she's talking about, like, when we lived in Kansas.
Oh, you mean Honey?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And she's talking about how I used to have to go and introduce us to everybody, and no one knew who we were.
Okay.
And so you do get that, the small town personality of her, like, quaint. You think, I don't know, Kansas, to me, the default, you think Wizard of Oz, like Auntie Anne, like farm town, like small town living. And the idea of her kind of innocently, it is from a time where you'd be like, oh, we're new in town, and you shake hands and try to meet the townspeople and the neighbors. So her seeing a fight or seeing something like that, yeah, I could see how she would get riled up, or, just from under exposure.
Right. So Martha hasn't shut up. So George goes over and starts choking her, and Nick has to pull him off. And they knock over a table. And then the bar owner comes back. He's like, what's going on in here? George is like, oh, nothing. We're just playing a game. We'll take another round. And the man was like, we're about to close, but, I'll bring the last one. Whew. And so.
And also, like, through the formalities and the pleasantries and kind of like forcing those lines of the social boundaries of like, oh, how far can we take this before it breaks down into violence or something like that? You do get the sense, like, Honey doesn't want to be there. She was the first to try to leave, and you get the impression too that she doesn't really like them. So seeing,
Well, okay, I don't get those impressions. I think if there's liquor around, she's down to hang out. I wouldn't say that she likes them, but she's not bothered by them yet. Like it's something to do. That's the impression I got. But what makes you think she doesn't like them?
I don't know, kind of just that. Like what I said, she was the first to try to leave, and she's saying, "Ooh, violence."
So he hadn't walked over to choke her out yet. But anyway, that's why I don't know. So George is like, okay, so we played humiliate the host. How about hump the hostess? And Nick looks off and Martha's like, oh, please. He was like, oh, y'all want to save that for later. Okay.
And this would have been apparently when the movie came out, people would have been like, oh,
yeah,
hump. Oh.
So he was like, oh, how about a round of get the guests? So he started saying what his second novel was about. And really, he's just telling that there's a young professor, blonde. He's talking about Nick and a wife who has an hysterical pregnancy. And then the next time, she's not all puffed up. Anyway, he doesn't try to hide that he's talking about Honey and Nick. Honey finally realizes what he's talking about. And she was like, you told them. It's like, Jesus, what's the big deal? Because just to be clear, when they say hysterical pregnancy, like she was under the impression that she was pregnant, but she really wasn't. And even her body made her think so because she got bigger. I mean, in truth, I believe in my mind she was pregnant and she got rid of it, but I don't know. What did you think really happened with the hysterical pregnancy? Or she just pretended to get married?
I don't know.
What are you thinking?
Can't people have false pregnancies?
I imagine so,
like,
yes.
But I don't know. Lactating even if you're not pregnant?
No, I don't think it'd go through, no.
Can't you lactate if a baby come around? And
if you've recently given birth, yeah.
Yeah, but haven't there been documented instances of it happening, like if a baby is abandoned?
Yes, but it's just not like it's me and I've never been pregnant and my titty's gonna start leaking milk because they're an abandoned baby. Is that what you're saying? Like I said, it's somebody who's nursed recently. You talking crazy?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's happened in the world.
What?
In the history of the world.
You're telling me that you think somebody who has never been pregnant or given birth will start lactating when there's a baby around? Is that what you're sitting here saying to me, Brendan?
I'm not saying it default happens anytime. I'm saying that it could happen or has happened.
What? Okay, please look this up. We can't go on. This sounds so insane. I don't know what you're talking about. Look up what you think you're talking about. What you gonna look up? Spontaneous lactation?
Can a woman lactate without being pregnant? Yes, a woman can lactate without being pregnant.
And what's the source?
This condition, known as galactorrhea. Oh, that's a horrible name. Induced lactation. Oh, galactorrhea when unexpected or induced lactation when intentional occurs due to hormonal imbalances, medications, or consistent breast stimulation. Common causes include elevated prolactin levels, pituitary gland tumors, thyroid issues, chronic kidney disease, or medications like antidepressants.
But guess what's not listed? Hearing a strange baby cry. You crazy nut.
Overstimulation, frequent nipple stimulation, whether from clothing or sexual activity, can trigger lactation.
Again, not hearing a random baby cry. What? I can't believe you're serious.
Induced lactation. Can I breastfeed my adopted baby? I'm adopting a newborn and I'd like to breastfeed the baby when I bring him home. Can I produce breast milk if I haven't been pregnant? With considerable dedication and preparation, breastfeeding without pregnancy, induced lactation might be possible. Normally, the natural production of breast milk is triggered by a complex interaction between 3 hormones during the final stages of pregnancy. at delivery, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, but this is not hearing a random baby. Moving on. So he tells this story. Nick is like, you're going to regret this. I'm going to make you regret it. And we're walking home. So Honey, also after she hears this story, she's like, I'm going to be sick. And she runs out. And then, like I just said, Nick leaves. So Martha's upset. Her and George walk out to the car. She says, you've gone too far. George says, I thought you would like it. And he was like, you can basically act the ass all day and expect no consequences. And she says, you married me for it. You love it. And she starts trying to punch him. He pushes her against the car and her head like
it's a hard push.
Knocks the car. Yeah.
It looked real. She
says, I'm going to finish you and you're going to wish you had died in the automobile accident. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I get this argument. But y'all are like, why is this so elevated just because he was picking on the couple? I don't know. I felt like she felt personally attacked. I don't know. And he says, you'll wish you had never mentioned our son. He was like, I don't mind your dirty under things in public. He was like, well, yeah, I do mind, but I've reconciled myself with that. But you've moved this baggage into your fantasy world.
Again, none of this resonated.
No, I didn't care about this argument at all.
Level.
George was like, I'm worried about your mind. I think I'll have you committed. She was like, what? Do you want to know what's happened? This whole arrangement has snapped. I tried with you. I really did. And he was like, once a month, I get this good little Martha, and every time I fall for it. He says, I rip you to pieces. She says, you're not man enough. I don't know. She runs to the car and drives off. And the camera stays with her. And she picks up Nick and Honey, does a Yui, and heads back the way they came from. So at this point, surely Nick would have been like, oh, you going the wrong way. Unless he was already ready to hunch her as well, right? No, you don't know?
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
this
is where it was so far past the point. It seemed like when they're having that exchange at the car,
yeah,
like that there was going to be some, like that was when the big revelation was going to happen or something. It just never.
Besides her leaving, something heavy was going to happen.
It never overcame that impasse for me to where I had a deepening involvement.
I will say,
the characters or the story. Like there was beyond appreciating the
sparring,
the acting and the exchanges and the dialogue being well written.
Didn't care about the characters at all.
It was like with the man who came to dinner.
Yeah,
it was like they were all him, and that was too much.
Okay,
it was just everybody
was
attacking at all time. Yeah.
Well, not George. I mean, not Nick either. They weren't smart with their dialogue. But still, I understand.
Yeah.
So he walks home. We see the car. It's jumped the curb. It's halfway in the yard, halfway in the road. And remember, we're on campus. I'm like, what do the neighbors think?
Also, you don't want anything for them either.
Yes.
And they don't seem to want anything.
Yes.
Other than to oppress the other or I don't know.
Oppress is a strong word.
It's all battling
to no end for no reason.
For control, and they don't seem like they even want it other than to try to inflict pain on the other person, but they're not even getting joy out of it. Yeah. It feels reflexive, but even it just the motivations don't make sense.
Yeah, surely if divorce was a thing by now. Like, what's the
beyond somebody wanting to show people being cruel to each other in an intelligent way, in an extremely strange way, with fake children? What the fuck is that?
Well, everything I saw that was like, you know how they eventually get to it. Truth versus illusion is the theme, but like I don't even. I don't think you can hide that much disgust in public, right? I mean, can you?
Yeah,
I guess they can.
there just isn't anything.
And she's clearly hunching other people all the time. I don't want to say all the time, but. Oh, you didn't get that?
Yeah, no, I did. It didn't. Again, it couldn't have resonated less.
So we see the car, like I said, halfway on the curb, halfway in the street. The turn signal is on. He opens the door and Honey's in the back seat. And I guess when the light comes on, she's like, no. So she's fucked up. George walks into the house, but he can't open it all the way. What do you call that? A chain lock? Top lock? What do you call that kind of lock?
Yeah.
Chain,
yeah.
Okay. So he can't get in because that's on. So he kicks it down. Not down, in. So that chain breaks. But the door is still on the hinges. He starts walking up the stairs and he picks up Martha's blouse. So we're under the impression that she's upstairs hunching. And he starts laughing loudly. He lets himself out the door and closes it. And when he's on the porch, the laughing turns to a little bit of a sob. He sits on the stairs. Honey walks over. She was like, I heard bells. He was like, don't bother me. He looks up at the window and I guess it's supposed to look like two people are kissing, messing around, fooling around, having sex, whatever. And he's like, I'm going to get you, Martha. And Honey's carrying on. She was like, I heard bells and I was naked. And he's like, you don't know what's going on, do you? She was like, I don't want to know. And this is what, I guess this is drunkenness, but this just really, I didn't buy this at all. So eventually she says, I don't want any children. I don't want to be hurt. And that catches George's attention. He was like, I knew it. Does he know how you make your little secret murders? I was like, Jesus. Is she aborting the babies? Is she on birth control? Like, what?
How common was abortion in 1966?
Apparently, it's been prevalent since the beginning of the time.
When was Roe v. Wade? Wasn't that 72?
Come on, why are you putting this? I'm sure birth controls, pills started in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but legalized abortion.
I wouldn't know what to tell you. When was the Roe v. Wade decision? We should know that. Well, should we? Didn't it get overturned? Should we know it?
Yeah, there's no reason to keep that information in your head anymore.
1973. So not yet.
I was almost right.
What'd you say?
I said 72.
Oh.
Gotcha, clueless.
Please. Okay, so.
Yeah, but that's not to say that she couldn't have had access to have that done.
So we really don't know what's happening. But I'll bring this up again.
Nor do we care.
Nor do we care. But I'll bring this up again because she's going to mention children again. I'm like, what the fuck, bitch? You just said you didn't want children. But anyway. So he was like, don't you know what's going on up there? And she still was like, I don't want to know. She's half drunk. And she was like, who rang? Someone rang. And I'm guessing she just heard, I told you the chimes or whatever is behind their front door. The door always knocks it if he's not careful. And then her saying it rang gives him an idea. He was like, someone rang. I've got it. It was a message. Our son is dead and Martha doesn't know. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. So she runs inside, Honey. She's like, I'm going to be sick. George stays outside. He's rehearsing. I have terrible news. Our boy is dead. So we fast forward in time a little bit because now we hear Martha calling outside, hey, over and over again, trying to see where George is. She walks to the car, cuts off the turn signal. She has another drink. The bitch is still drinking. Nick is on the porch saying, oh, y'all are crazy. And she was like, you're no better than anybody else. And he was like, I think I am. And she was like, well, you're surely a flop in some departments. We were like, oh, so was he not able to get it up? But this, again, is not reliable because this is going to change. So he was like, sorry, you're disappointed. Maybe sometime when I haven't been drinking for 10 hours.
Yeah, 10 hours. 10 hours of straight liquor. They had no snacks.
He could have been.
They have no snacks throughout the night.
That's crazy, though, that they did not have. Well, she does Martha, when they first get home, she's chewing on a cold piece of chicken. which is
Okay.
so good. But she had something nobody else did.
And they go on until dawn.
Strange.
A
Eventually,
few bites of a cold piece of chicken is enough to fortify you for 7 more hours of drinking.
So she walks to the screen porch door. She's looking out. She was like, I disgust me. There's only been one man in my entire life who's ever made me happy, George. And Nick is like, you gotta be kidding. And she was like, do you base everything on looks or something like that? And then she goes on this whole little monologue. George, who is good to me, who I revile, who can keep learning the games we play, who can make me happy, and I do not wish to be happy. Yes, I wish to be happy. I was like, oh my God, these are just lines. You know what I mean? It didn't sound like something somebody would say out loud. And he's made the insulting mistake of loving me and must be punished for it. One liquor at a night, I'll go too far or break his back or push him off for good. Then the doorbell rings. She calls Nick a houseboy and tells him to go answer it. And she was like, you didn't follow me home because you were burning with passion. You were thinking about your career. And she was like, so you could start by being a houseboy for a while. Whew. So he goes answer the door. It's George. And he has some snapdragons in his hand. Do you know where that line was from? Because I didn't know. When he says, Flores para los muertos. I didn't either. Apparently it's a line from a Streetcar Named Desire.
Oh, okay.
Which
I've
I
never
don't
seen
remember.
it.
Oh, yeah? It's on the list. I don't remember, so. But anyway, we'll take his word for it. So he hugs Nick. He's like, Sonny, you come home for your birthday. Nick was like, get off me. Martha's like, no, that's the houseboy. Make my hubby a drink. And then they both start fucking with Nick and singing houseboy, houseboy. I was like, what is going on? So like he knows a wife has hunched him. He's fine with it. It's strange. He says, I don't know, this was an insult back then. George says to Nick, screw baby. Martha's like, him can't. Him too full of booze. And then I don't know. It goes off on a tangent. George is like, I was sailing past the moon in Mallorca. She says, you've never been there. He was like, my parents took me as a graduation gift for graduating from college. And then Nick was like, I don't know when you people are lying or what. And George's like, you're not supposed to.
Yeah. And we, as the audience, feel the same way.
Yeah. And yeah, so
I guess people back then were like, this is great.
I don't know.
I love people who are liars and drunk fuck-ups who are miscreants and get cuckolded in their own house while the person who's cucking them's wife is fucked up outside. Like, what the hell is even going? Even if that were your kink, if you're Nick, you're leaving your wife outside while you go fuck someone else's wife without her consent. Like, they don't give the impression of being swingers or anything like that either. Like, even in a even in a kink-ridden world that we live in these days, like, and he hears like, I'm in some sick, twisted game. He doesn't seem like he's having a good time or anything either.
Yeah, he's just resigned. I don't know. But Nichols like, oh, was this after you killed them? And George was like, maybe. Then Martha's like, yeah, or maybe not. I'm like, what is happening? He calls him a houseboy again. And then Nichols like, tell him I'm not a houseboy. George is like, okay, one of y'all are lying. Is he a houseboy or not? And then Martha's like, no, he's not a houseboy. So I'm like, okay, well, why were even acting like he didn't fuck you? Like, what was the point of that? Strange. So George starts throwing the flowers at her one by one, saying, snap went the dragons. And he's calling back to when she said, you make me snap. She was talking about how she's had enough when they were at the bar arguing in the parking lot.
Virginia Woolf also supposedly.
Like snapdragons?
No, suffered from
what?
Undiagnosed bipolar disorder.
Okay.
I'm saying as far as this, like, the extremism of
okay. So he's throwing flowers one by one at her. He does it to Nick too. Nick was like, you want me to do something to him? She's like, you leave him alone. And then she says, truth or illusion, George, it doesn't mean anything to you. And he says, snap. You got your answer now? She was like, I got it. It's like, Jesus Christ. Whew.
And again, this stuff is funny and the exchanges are funny, but don't care about anything that's going on. And I'm also not like, I can't wait to see what happens next or how this plays out. Like,
I'm just like, how the fuck is this going to
end? I just want them to leave.
Yes. So he's like, one last game. We're going to play Bringing Up Baby. I was like, oh no. And if you don't know, that's a film from 1938. Baby is a leopard. Anyway, he tells Nick to go get his wife. As Nick leaves to go do that, we see that Martha is calm now. She's cuddling up to George and rubbing on his chest, and he slaps her hand away. He's like, keep your paws clean for the undergraduates. I was like, oh, she fucking students too? He grabs her by the hair and yanks her head back. I forget what he says. You should like this last game or something like that. And this drunk bitch comes hopping in like a bunny. I'm so tired of her by this point.
Boy, you really hated Honey. You didn't have any sympathy for her at all. I felt that she was the biggest victim of it because she almost didn't have. She wasn't clued into any of
No,
this.
she wasn't. But stop drinking so much so you can see what the fuck is going on. I don't know.
See, she's the only one demonstrating like experienced effects of drinking, which is because she is not
a real
drinker like they are fucking insufferable alcoholics at the rate with which they're putting it back. They should have been hospitalized at the rate with which they were drinking.
I don't like any of them, but I mean, it's not that I dislike them. I don't like them either. They're just, I don't care.
And her performance, I thought, was the toughest to pull off too, because she has to do.
That's the thing. It didn't pull off to me. She gave me slow in the mind and simple versus small town girl and out of her depth.
Well, I think she
on purpose
represents the naivete of.
Like, I think that's what she was supposed to do. The presumed
majority of the audience that would have been watching this at the time.
Anyway, so George says, our son turned out all right. Most would be neurotic with how Martha used to try to bust down the door to bathe him and dragging strangers over at all hours. And this was my favorite part when Honey turns to Nick. She was like, why would anyone want to watch somebody who's 16? And she was so serious. And Nick was like, oh, for Christ's sake, honey. She was like, well, why? I was like, yeah, why? The way she said it, no, that was a funny line, Rita. I was like, all right, bitch, you funny. Okay. So George forces Martha to start talking about the son. She goes on about how it was an easy birth. George says, no, you labored. She says, no, it was an easy birth. Once I relaxed into it, he was a healthy, red, bawling child. He had green eyes. George says blue. She says green. Somebody says brown, I think, at one point. She's like, he's a beautiful boy, so wise. George is like, all truth being relative. And this is the part. Honey's like, oh, I want a child. I want a baby. I'm like, bitch, you just said you didn't want any kids outside. Like, what are you talking about? And she's getting all teary-eyed.
Yeah, she's drunk and emotional.
Jesus Christ.
Late. She's probably exhausted, too. Been up all night.
So as Martha is talking about the boy's upbringing, it's intercut or it's overlapping with George reading what do they call it? It's not called a mass. It's not a poem. He's reading something in Latin about death. I can't remember what term I'm looking for.
Requiem.
I don't know. Anyway, Honey's saying stop at this point because I guess she remembers what he said outside about the son dying, I guess. Because she's telling George to stop. George's like, I got a message, some sad news while the two of you were busy for a while, referring to Martha and Nick fucking upstairs. He says the doorbell rang and it was Western Union. She was like, Crazy Billy? He was like, yeah, Crazy Billy. Like, does Crazy Billy even exist? What? She was like, why didn't they telephone it? He was like, some messages you have to deliver in person. He's not coming home for his birthday. She was like, of course he is. He was like, no, our son is dead. He was killed. He swerved a car to avoid hitting a porcupine and drove straight into a large tree. She was like, you can't do that. You can't decide these things for yourself. So she lunges at him to start shaking him or something, and Nick has to pull her off. And he was like, just face it. We got a telegram. He was in a car accident. He's gone. Poof, just like that. Now, how do you like it? It's like, Jesus Christ. She's screaming, no. She's crying. She sort of collapses against the table. She keeps saying he's not dead. And Nichols, like, he doesn't have the power to make him die. He hasn't decided anything. So he's still convinced the son has actually died. She's like, show me the telegram. And this bitch was like, I ate it. She was like, what did you say to me? He said, I ate it. And so she spits at him. And Honey was like, I saw him. He ate it. I'm like, why is this bitch co-signing? Like, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? That's drunkenness, is what you're telling me.
That's her getting indoctrinated into their sickness.
Jesus Christ. George was like, you know the rules. I can kill him if I want to. And then at this point, Nick was like, oh my God, I think I understand this. And at this point, I'm like, I still don't know what. The first time I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So George says, you broke our rule and mentioned him to somebody else. She was like, you didn't have to kill him. Jesus Christ. So if that wasn't clear, the son is imaginary. They have no son.
Yeah.
George
says
this
is supposed to represent some
I don't know.
alternate
I guess we're not
reality
smart enough
for them where they
have not really. It's not a happy life because they keep talking about how even the son can't save this broken marriage. You know what I mean? Like, at least have a happy pretend child. No?
Yes, but that's us witnessing them play it out publicly in front of these two because she broke the rule and mentioned it.
Okay. So you think in private it was a happy... Okay.
Again.
George says it's done. The party's over. And Nick asks, he was like, you couldn't have any. George says we couldn't. Martha says we couldn't. Then George says, you two go now. So they start to head out. Nick stops. He was starting to say something. He's like, I'd like to. George cuts him off. He says, good night. So they walk out the door. Jesus Christ. George asks her if she wants anything. She says, no, nothing. It's time for bed. You tired? Yes. And she was like, did you have to? He was like, yes. It may be better. She was like, just us? He was like, yeah. And he started singing, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? She was like, I am, George. And it zooms in on them. His hand is on her shoulder and she's holding it.
And she's crying.
Yeah. Jesus.
Tears falling out.
So this is supposed to, I guess, inform you that they're going to be okay. I mean, I don't think they're going to get any better. But I also, even before this, I thought they would make it just because of the names George and Martha. And, George and Martha Washington stayed together for 40 years till he died. I was like, oh, they'll be fine. They're just going to keep replaying this every night. Crazy.
A horrible existence.
Yeah. And
joyless.
I also got the feeling that we're going to see, I guess, maybe this is a hint at how Honey and Nick are going to end up. Because they're not happy either. He's with her for money. I don't know what the fuck she's doing with him. Maybe she just want to get out of the town. I don't know.
Yeah, again, the further it goes, the less...
You care?
It's just...
This didn't make me think deeply about anything.
No.
I mean, maybe it would have in 1966, but at this point, I'm just like, I wouldn't have been in this marriage is all I keep saying. It's thinking to myself.
And I just keep coming to the conclusion that I feel like people of the time, other than the fact that it is so different, maybe, than what
they were used to saying.
Everything was being presented as. But even then, it's fascinating as an exercise, but it doesn't ever feel meaningful at all on any level.
But also, I guess maybe like But like we were saying, if really there had been no other true representations of a bad marriage on screen, I can see how this would be quote unquote groundbreaking. But us seeing it now.
But isn't what happens in A Streetcar Named Desire? Why is he going, Stella? What's that about?
Okay, honestly, I don't remember that part. I mean, no, I remember that part, but I don't. Is this after she tells him she's leaving?
I don't know. Surely there were bad marriages depicted in popular culture prior to this.
Yes, but they don't cuss each other out. Not that this is cussing each other out, but I feel like they don't get that vocal about it. Do you know what I'm saying? The insults.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I don't know. I feel like it would have reached the point of physical abuse way earlier.
What year was the
this.
apartment?
60.
So the apartment was before this.
Let me see.
And that's people fucking around on their wives and hunching in
Yeah, 1960.
C.C. Baxter's apartment in his bed and leaving
All right.
puddles everywhere for him to step in his slippers.
Well, she just hunched in their bed. That is wild to me. Like, why? What would make somebody be okay with that? I mean, I know there are all kind of marriages and stuff, but like I don't know. At some point, he seems bothered, but then not because he can't change it. Like, what? I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, people are gross. Doesn't get much worse than people.
And maybe she's just been raised as you can't get divorced. Because it's not like he has money. The daddy has money.
I sent Marion a Reddit post.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Film left on toilet seat every time roommate uses it. Serious answers only, please. And there's a picture of the toilet seat. And you can see...
What the hell does this have to do with the movie?
Because of people being gross. You talked about how gross it is sleeping in the other person's bed.
Okay.
And just as every time my roommate uses the toilet, there's like this weird film stuck to it. When I hit it with a Clorox wipe, it comes off beige. I'm thinking it's sweat. Like,
yeah,
I won't read the
dead
whole thing.
Skin.
Yeah, that's what the response is. Mm-hmm. The top response says, unfortunately, it is dead skin. I dated a guy once. ... and ellipses. Somebody says, ugh, I had a roommate who was like this. Never showered, left grimy ass prints on the toilet seat every day. Good times. And then the next comment says, I regret learning to read.
All right, Brittany scale. So the Brittany scale is a rating system we use comprised of, if that's the right way to use that word, frequent terms that I use to describe anything, food, experiences, movies, whatnot. So from worst to best, no. From best to worst, no. Which way do I like to go? I like to go worst to best. Bad, okay, regular, decent, good. I wanted to give this a bad, but since the dialogue kept you engaged, like when they're arguing, I'm giving it an okay. I feel like I'm missing something, like you said, about how well received. It also has an 8 on IMDb. Not that that's anything, but like, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing out on something.
Yeah, I'll give it an okay as well. Again, for like the technical proficiencies. It looks good. The acting is great. It's
in black and white, which we didn't mention, which I like that it's in black and white. Maybe something would have been lost if it was in color because she's so pretty, I guess. I don't know.
And it does do a good job eliciting the feeling. You probably have not experienced this because you never went to a party in your life, but did you say I've never went to a party in my life? Well, that's how you conduct yourself. Okay. As though you sat in a corner reading a book.
Yeah. But
getting past that, the closing time obstacle or whatever of an endless night that goes till dawn, because it ends at dawn when the sun is coming up. And
is there some significance to it ending at dawn for you?
I mean, beyond the slap you over the head obviousness of what that's supposed to mean.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It does a good job of getting there to where it does feel like those lost hours of the mixed, being in mixed company with weird people and you don't really know what's going on. It does a good job getting you there of like, this is weird and shit does get weird. And that's what they say, like nothing good happens after midnight or whatever. And this is a good example of that. But again, the way it plays out is in such an alienating way to where the fascination of what could happen next isn't enough. Like I could have turned it off
at any point. Yeah.
Cared how it ended up at all.
I agree.
And knowing how it ends,
it's not
and remembering now, like the payoffs are non-existent.
Yep.
And if the payoff is an imaginary kid who fake dies in their internal fake struggle with each other, I don't know. I would love to hear like a feminist dissection of this with the Virginia Woolf
angle
being titular and repeated throughout the movie.
What else do you mean by feminist? Because clearly that isn't a special thing. Maybe just like I think women should be treated fairly. So technically that's a feminist. So what do you mean when you say that?
Yeah, I would just, from the vantage point of a woman in the 60s or something, being like, the times were like this, and this is how the patriarchy was oppressive to women, or something like that.
We're taking that out, and you're going to say it without that voice?
No, I would be more interested in reading that than ever watching this movie again, and seeing somebody from that approach, somebody defending it from
what
that
was that
standpoint.
Quote?
Like,
the review, it said, one of the reviews said only dirty-minded women would go see this.
yeah.
I was like, what? Strange.
They say only dirty-minded women, straight women are watching that gay hockey show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I told you about.
About what?
Please, they were talking about it on Howard.
No,
and the gay guy on his staff was saying how gay people don't like this show. Only straight people do.
What rating would this be this day and age? Is this like a PG-13? What does the PG-13 have to hit for it to be rated that?
I mean, it could depend on a lot of stuff. There's not really, I mean...
This isn't a rated R, though.
No.
One of the extra things we saw was that this film...
I would say PG-13 at the most because of thematic stuff. The drunk driving. The violence against women.
Yeah. The extra we saw said that this movie combined with, was it 400 Blows?
Cucking a married man.
Was it 400 Blows?
Oh, I don't know.
That got the rating system. Like, there was nothing before this. Like, everybody could see the film because it's had certain standards. But after this, they introduced the rated R. And he said it was...
No, I don't think rated R came until later. Or no. PG-13 was what came in the 80s.
Yes, he said 2 years after this movie was when rated R was there. He said there was an X. And then he was like, the pornographers stole his X and made a double X and triple X. So he had to change the NC-17. So no child under 17.
Yeah, but all of that, the rating system is all derived from like a Christian organization. That's all arbitrary.
Yeah, but this is the president of the MPAA, and he...
Yes, the MPAA is the rating system. They don't have
anything to do with what?
They're assigning those ratings from like a morality.
I don't care why they're assigned. I'm telling you that the guy said they came into existence 2 years after because of this movie and 400 Blows.
Be sure to come back next week.
Is that how you gonna do this? Could you please be serious? Jesus.
So, to rebound from this
Rebound.
slog through Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Sorry, no offense if you love this movie.
No, I'm surprised we were so
What?
almost exactly in tune with our take
You're
on it.
surprised? You thought I was going to love this?
No, I don't know. I didn't know what to anticipate.
I remember I was disappointed the first time I saw it because I don't know what I was expecting. And I don't remember how long ago that was. So when I saw it again, I was like, okay, maybe this time I'll get the realization that I missed the first time. But there was nothing.
Mm-mm. Even less.
Yeah.
I feel like
I feel bad saying that. I don't know why.
if you would have asked me prior to us rewatching it, I would be like, yeah, I think I remember it being pretty good.
That's what you would have said?
What I remembered about it was it being completely different than what I could have anticipated. Mm. And I guess that
It's
just caught me so off guard that I didn't factor. I probably also, I know I went by myself as well. And I was probably like, maybe I'm missing something. I'm stupid.
Yep,
I don't know.
Exactly how I feel.
Something was lost on me or I don't know. I always just assume, and maybe that's what everybody's been doing for years. Has been like pretending that it's great because they don't want to admit that they hate it. But we'll be watching Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which you've never seen.
No. And what year is it from?
2004.
And who's in it?
Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet,
okay,
Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood,
all right.
Dunst.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You can watch this currently on Hulu at the time of this recording. This has been Black and White Movie Night. I'm black.
I'm white.
You're wrong, and I'm right.
Black and white. Black and white.